At this moment, this is where it started going wrong, before my descent into madness. Can this one basic capsule really cause so much suffering? So like anyone, I want to make a game, but these are my specs. I mean, for me, it seems fine, because before this I had an i3 with no GPU, so this is a huge upgrade. If my voice sounds bad, or these voiceovers are being done on my phone, long story short, my i7 has headphone mic problems. I'm literally using my phone's voice recorder. Getting into it, I started with the basics, going through Godot on how to just make a basic capsule with a platform, step by step, using scripts that came with it. Feeling confident, everything working, seeing this beautiful capsule follow my directions, I finally add my own code. This code's main job is to reset the whole game so that the capsule returns to the platform once it passes this specific area. It works. Seeing this made me so happy. It resets, so it seems I sort of understand what's happening. This moment, I didn't know what the problem could be. So I did what anyone in this situation would do. I googled. But what kept showing up for me was a return and this physics process false thing. So I clenched my fist and added the code. Moment of truth.
Oh my god!
It works. But looking at this didn't sit right with me, because I had no clue how it fixed the problem, or if this was a quick fix that would later break my code. It felt like magic. So I set on a journey for understanding this magic, and also not wanting to blow up my one and only i7. From here on out, I was hit with the flu out of nowhere. So all voiceovers are going to sound very fluey, I think, till the end. This added on 2 extra days to the project. I didn't know how much suffering I would actually go through. So starting where anyone would, I took those errors from before our fix to understand why they were so bad, to see if our fix actually fixed anything. I took these errors to AI. Gemini AI first. Just touching on these errors with AI was amazing. I felt more confident on what was happening in Godot, but we were just scratching the surface. It felt as if I was gonna breeze through this, but then we started going deeper, just because I wanted to know the why of the Godot physics server. The more tabs I had to open up just to keep up with what the heck was happening, the worse it was going to get. Day 2 taught me of RID's physics body. By this point, I felt like I was starting to understand this magic until day 3. By day 3, I had about 9 to 11 tabs open. I went into Godot with AI helping. This time we went into physics space. Once I tried connecting RIDs, physics server, physics body, and physics space, this is where it was going to get a lot worse. Because for every tab I had opened, I was focusing on each specific component, like tab 1, RIDs, tab 2, physics server. But once I tried connecting them with each tab, tab 1 explaining the connection said I was correct. My understanding was right. But the other tabs, this is where disaster struck. No, I was wrong. No, it works. Like for each different tab I went into, I was almost always wrong. At this point, I was losing hope. So I went to Grok AI, trying to explain my connections like a normal human that wants to understand Godot. Even Grok said I was wrong, and went into such detail that I was lost at this point. I didn't know what to do. I just switched off my computer as my brain felt like it was being gaslighted. I was right, but I was also wrong. Day 4, I closed all my tabs about Godot and did what anyone would. I went to Godot's documentation, but not even that helped. The docs just really told me what to use, not why. It just felt like I was starting all over from scratch, knowing nothing of this magic, as the docs felt like surface level. It didn't give me that connection. At this point, I was tired and desperate, 3 days with AI and getting nowhere. I would do anything to make sure what I was learning was 100% right, not just gaslighted info. That's when I stumbled on Godot's GitHub. I felt relieved, thinking who knows better than anyone but the engine. Going into something like Godot source code, I've never done this in my life. Plus, it was written in C++. I know nothing about C++. I was desperate. The only thing I knew is that the basic fundamentals are the same, which I hope. Because I couldn't build something on fake knowledge. I needed that 100%. Even if I failed, which I already did with 3 days with AI, it's the only thing I care about. I just wanted to know, was I right? Was I doing it the correct way? Was my understanding correct? The best way I could explain the AI and the source code is trust AI like you trust a stranger. Don't believe everything they say to you. Most of the times, there ain't candy in the van. But going into the engine, trust it like a good foreign friend, except there's a language barrier. So half the time, you're just googling what the heck he's trying to say. But you do this because he has the most valuable info, and you need it. I used those errors and worked my way up in the code. Half the time I was googling. Most of the things I had no clue how they worked. It felt like I was jumping around from line 400 to a different file than being on like line 3000 of that file. But for each that seemed to connect with those specific functions in the Godot code, I didn't know what most of them did. I googled and I started to understand what they did. By this point, I was tired trying to read C++ with my Python understanding and jumping around files. Day 6. At this point, my connect started coming through. Going to the errors to the RIDs, physics server, physics body, and physics space. I started understanding what their main objective is and seeing how they connect with each other. Here, I felt happy, as if it seems my understanding might be right. So everything I understood and connected, I wrote down. With this knowledge I had, I felt as if I could explain it to people, but I didn't know what I could use to explain it to you, the audience, and for future me who might forget. This is when I found Menem. I didn't know any Menem, but at least it was in Python, so here I read through the documentation to figure out how to use it. Here is where I actually started making these videos, but I didn't know how long it would really take. I felt confident, but altogether this took 3.5 days to make, plus 2 days I had to scrape because of AI gaslighting me. I was already tired, but kept on going for the sake of understanding. I tried making the Menem for the audience good and for myself. This is like me explaining William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, except not really good at reading it, but trying to give you the 21st century version summarized. This Menem project is about 4 minutes long, so I really hope you enjoy it. I recommend you watching it to understand what will happen later in the video, but if you wish you can skip 4 minutes ahead. Physics server is the manager. It oversees everything. Everything in here is just numbers being calculated. But it doesn't do the calculations directly itself. There are 3 components in physics server that allow these calculations to happen. If either one is missing, there will be no calculations. These 3 components are RIDs, physics body, and physics space. A RID is a resource ID. This is created by physics server. Think of it like a tracking number. You, the person, also have this number, and so does the system. The system knows where this item is because the RID tells the system, look here, this is where this specific item is. The RID is used to point us to where that item is, so that we can use it. In the game, every time I start it up, 2 things happen. Your player capsule asks for a RID. The physics server creates one. Now, what I want you to think of is like an exchange. Now your player capsule sends to the physics server its values, but these values are really just numbers, no textures. And physics server then creates a physics body, which I like to think is a mathematical copy of the player's capsule. Now physics server sends this RID to player's capsule and says, whenever you need calculations, show me the RID So I can then find the same RID on my side and use the math copy that this RID points to in physics server. Now, like I said, physics body is like a math copy. Now there's something important to note. Everything physics related in your game has a RID and has a math copy. There's still one component missing, and with this component we can start doing calculations. Physics space. Physics space runs every frame. This is the one that does the calculations. Why? Because anything inside here obeys the laws of physics. And this means every calculation follows these physics laws. I like to think of it as a list. If you're inside the list, the game calculates and uses physics body. Now, if you're not in the list, no calculations are done, meaning you're outside of physics space. Your RID and your physics body exist, except to the game, you really don't matter. It only cares about the physics body inside it. I like to think of physics space as the math simulation world that follows the laws of physics. So every time your player capsule wants to do something, it then checks the RID, checks physics body, checks if you're in physics space. Physics space takes these vector keystrokes, does the calculation, sends the final calculations, and then renders it on your screen. Boom, your player capsule jumps. Now what goes in your physics space is physics body, like the math copy. This is what physics space uses to do calculations on, so it follows the laws of physics. Why, you ask, is every calculation done on physics server? Because it strips away the art of your game and just focuses on the logic that makes up everything, the numbers. If we didn't do it this way, then everything that makes your game beautiful, the art, would be added to the logic. This would be too much to calculate, take way longer than it should, and let's hope your CPU can handle it. All these unnecessary extra steps would just be a waste of processing power for your CPU. Now we have our understanding of what the problem could be, but we don't exactly know where the problem is. Looking at the code, there's only one place where this problem could start at. It's by the emit. The emit triggers a game restart, but how could a reload scene cause a problem? So to focus on the problem, I went into figuring out how reload scene works. I went into the documentation, but same here, just surface level. With this new knowledge we have, I went into Godot's GitHub and searched for reload scene to see how it worked. Maybe it's causing our problem. Going into it, after searching for a while, two important components showed up. The first was that when our emit triggers the reload scene, it takes everything physics related and takes it out of the physics space list, meaning the list is essentially empty. But the thing about this is it triggers immediately while your important code is trying to run. Component 2. This completely deletes the whole scene at the end when all your important code is done running for safety. But we are here for the first component. So since we know once we call the reload scene, our physics space list is now blank. Now when we go back to our important code and try to do anything physics related, it will stop working and throw nulls because physics space is now blank. How do I know I might be right? Well, I wasn't sure I was. I tried to figure out, can I see if my RID exists, if physics body exists, and if my capsule exists in physics space. That's when I found these three functions that might tell me if I'm right or wrong. So I started testing, adding these functions before our emit and after our emit. Moment of truth. So it seems that I might be right of how the reload scene works, but how could we fix this problem? If the scene triggers the physics space list to be blank, is there any way we can fix it so it doesn't try to run with our important code, so we don't get any null errors? Is there any way for it to run safely? So here I went to Google and I think I found our solution. A call deferred allows our code to run safely at the end once the main code is done running, so it doesn't cause any problems. I added the code. Now let's see if it fixes our null problems. It works. All null errors are gone. Thank you. It felt like I was finally going somewhere. I know some of you might be thinking, if you just googled it at the beginning of the video, your problem would have been solved immediately. Yes, you're right, but then there would be no journey and no understanding this magic. This whole video took about 2 weeks and 5 days, plus all the above. I'm going to try and post a video once a week. Yeah, I might fail doing that, so please bear with me. I'm no expert. I'm just a beginner trying to learn, so I'm not even sure if I'm doing it the right way. What do you think? Is my understanding right?